Huh, interesting. Poor GPS signal, so it was downgraded. Let's try this again here. Still, again, bad GPS location, so it's not detecting where I am, and it's poor GPS location accuracy. Not sure why. Oh, okay. So it was connected to my Wi-Fi, and now it should be LTE, so it should be. It's still looking like it's confused, so. Okay. Now it seems to be good. Going a different way than it typically goes. Not sure why that's the case. But we're driving to. There's some road work here. That was really bad. I mean, granted, this guy should have. They should have moved in earlier, but regardless, it did what it did, and it didn't really brake very hard. And notice that that car was not, or wasn't slowing down. So just to give you another reference, we're on Full Self-Driving Beta 11.4.2, and we are driving downtown Chicago, so we wanted to do a little bit of a full self-driving test when driving on some highway and then getting downtown to the city. So it's going to take like an hour and 21 minutes to get downtown, so that sucks, but got to get downtown for work, so. And I'm not going to make that light either, so let's turn this back on here. Nobody turning left here. Yeah, it's not really scooching too much over on these people that aren't going left here. Alright, we're back. Green light, oncoming traffic. Okay. Did not continue going. Essentially hesitated for oncoming traffic making a left turn. Alright, had to take over there. Already off to a bad start when there's traffic involved. So seemingly Full Self-Driving Beta does decently when there's no traffic, but when there is traffic, ooh, big problem. Brake harder. Oof. Super uncomfortable. But you can see how hard it's braking. But I can see that it should be slowing down. I see there's traffic above, and I would brake a little bit sooner. Alright, it was like emergency braking there. Doesn't really understand to thread the line here. I don't know why it's got a turn signal on. Alright, we're back and moving. Still engaged. Still an assertive. I don't know. It defaultly does not check minimal lane changes. I kind of feel like we should have that checked. Like right now it should probably move around this car or this truck. And just in general, as a rule of thumb, I would move around this because like I can't see further ahead than just this one car, so yeah, I would typically do that just so I can have better visibility. But this car is kind of just like fine being behind this car, which is a little bit odd since it's in assertive mode. And I think that's why before it was trying to change lanes, it was trying to go in front of it, so wheel was shaking a little bit. So that's the other thing, is like it's shaking to go, okay, alright, tried to change 2 lanes, alright. Not entirely sure why I did that. Now it wants to change back into this lane. I don't know what the heck it's doing. Very odd. I mean, I guess that was assertive, but if it's assertive, it should go into the right lane so it can go ahead of these cars, right? But that was interesting. Trying to make a right turn when navigation says go straight. Yeah, I don't like it. It just bobbed and weaved to go right. I don't really understand what the heck it was doing. Like, the navigation has been saying go straight for a long time, so. Okay. So it slowed down a little bit for that car, so that was good. That car kind of creeped into our lane. Should slow down a little bit for this. It's gonna slow down too much. Like this should just keep going, but it slows down a little bit too much there. Oh, you're right. Yep. Not turning right at this one though.
Mrs. Jones.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, no. All 3 cars. Oh, that's 4 cars.
Yes.
And they're so
They were so fun.
It was incredibly fun, and I think people switched enough. Now everyone's getting about the so it really came all full
It
circle.
did. Because the first time the kids have come out.
Okay, it's
for
braking.
a gas.
Should not brake.
They came out, they
Come on.
Yeah,
Let's
I mean,
go.
they come out, but then it's
I can't.
somehow they work in the background.
They did.
So many
Lane change, that's okay. Smooth, even in a turn, so that was good. Alright, it's braking. It sees the left turn lane, but it shouldn't be braking here, so don't know why it's doing that.
They are. There was some
I think this is really the scenario where I would feel full self-driving is great in that there's not too many ins and outs. I feel like I would switch this I would definitely switch this to minimal lane changes. I'm keeping in this for the sake of consistency, but for that matter, like, you really want it to stay in its lane, not do too many crazy things. It's in assertive mode, but like at this very moment in 2023, it's still just okay, not great. Let's see what it does with this person trying to come in. Doesn't really leave a window for him. I mean, it has a window, but like he's not like speeding up. He's not really. Oh, look at that frozen screen too. He's not really super conscious of the fact that there's another car there, so that's not great. Sort of beats the purpose of having the visualizations there. But yeah, I think where you can enjoy yourself a little bit more, relax a little bit more, I think this is the scenario where it's ideal. Where now in ideal situation there wouldn't be any traffic, but you know, here we are, 2023, 21st century, unable to solve traffic. So I think we're back. Hey, for Chicago, for a lot of other states, cities, New York, Seattle, California, still have issues with traffic. So I don't think we're going to get away from that one anytime soon. Got a little window where we'll actually be able to go pretty quick here. And then it's going to stop real quick when we hit the 94 traffic. It's only 3:42 p.m. here, so typically traffic doesn't hit big time until like 5-ish, but it starts to build up real quick. We'll see how it handles it. Once we get into the bumper to bumper traffic, I'll probably turn it off, just because we're literally be at a standstill for quite some time, so probably no reason to share the video for that. But I think it's good to share, like in these scenarios, if you're road tripping, full self-driving is really good for those types of scenarios where you don't really have to worry about running into the person in front of you or going outside of your lane, and making sure that you navigate to the right place. So I think those are the scenarios where it really exists in saving a lot of, let's say, tension, or you get to relax a lot more. When I road tripped this to Virginia for that Ironman race, like, it was definitely more chill than it was not. Like, I had it in full self-driving a lot of the time on the highway, so I was basically just letting it do its thing. So, and even back then, it didn't have all the features that it has now, and still was able to handle the highway pretty well. And it's always been able to handle the highway very well. I think that's one of the things that I want to make sure that people understand. And it just doesn't do very well when, you know, the lane lines go away, there's stoplights, there's left turns that may or may not have lane lines, and you get oncoming traffic where it's sort of looking like it's going to run into you, but it's not actually going to run into you. You know, the double left lane turns on both sides. So yeah, those scenarios, it becomes a little bit more scary, and the car wants to protect itself essentially. So, but yeah, as you can see, we used to be able to select the amount of cars to have in between. I think if I change the full self-driving to be not the full self-driving beta and just use the autopilot, I think it still allows me to do that. But since I'm not in that setting, it only allows me to do the assertive, average, and chill, and the minimal lane changes. So it tries to do 2 car lengths in between it. So you can see here, I'm still limited by the fact that the car is not going that fast, so it's still going under 70, which I don't think the cars in front of me or behind me will like it. Like, there's the person next to me on their phone, so I would much, you know, there's that. So right, it's like incoming traffic, so we'll pause the video so we get something more interesting, and then we will stand by until we get to see how that responds. And so I didn't say, let's just say, since, you know, I have a lot more experience driving in the city than it has, it's more or less unusable in the city, especially with all its sporadic turn signals. I mean, I understand people can be lost and stuff like that, but it knows where it's going. It knows where it has to make its next turn. So yeah, I think minimal lane changes would be preferred, in that it would just make its lane change, be smart to be in a specific lane so that it can make sure that it doesn't miss a turn. So that would be my preferred behavior, but it just really doesn't do that well if it's not in minimal lane changes. And even when it's in that, I still don't think it acts particularly well in terms of just being aware of space for other cars, and also general rules that you learn when you just drive. So we're free up for a little bit longer, and then we'll hit some more traffic. Always combination of the 94 connecting to 90, so I'm sure that'll be fun.
I need to be on that. Are you kidding me? She was like, he's amazing. Oh my god, you think we can be like that? Michael is backstage. I was like, probably, yeah. I'm like,
What's your brother
and I'm
doing
like,
this
you've never.
Just really loves these semis, doesn't it? I don't know why it merged into this lane. It does not need to make a right turn or anything like that. You're gonna laugh if it tries to merge back into the other lane. Yeah, I don't know why, but I know how to feel. I'm curious to know what calculation it makes to figure out, like, oh, I need to, okay, I don't know why you're in this lane. Stops traffic ahead, use both lanes. Maybe it knows that the left lane is closed, I don't know. Exit 41C, okay, so maybe it's trying to get to this exit, and all